Do you know the highest police force in the land? You know what I'm talking about. Do you know the highest police force in the land?
The army.
MPs. Military police are the highest. Why are they? Because they work directly for the sovereign.
That's right. The Queen is Commander-in-Chief of all armed forces.
Absolutely.
Particularly the army. And that's very important because obviously when you sign up as a soldier, you'll become the sovereign soldier. You're appointed to protect the Queen. Now, believe it or not, there's specific regiments in the army, like, for instance, the Grenadier Guards. Many of you know them, they're referred to as all kind of wooden tops. But there's one particular company, that's funny, they're called a company. Yeah, all the regiments in the army have a corporate structure, and this sort of hit me in the face when I started to learn about the stuff John and the great many people that have contributed to this.
Michael, come up and talk about this, because you've got some fascinating information I'm sure people would love to hear. Have we got time? Do you want to listen to this?
I really want to go. What's really important is that I didn't quite even understand my own sovereignty, although I had an idea of it. But as a soldier, a great thing is that you're there as service to your nation, and you believe in that. And often those beliefs are cultured through where you've been brought up and who you've been brought up by. But the key thing is as a young man who believes that he's going to be a soldier, you believe in your people, protecting your people. Now the problem is with many veterans, we become isolated from you because we become a separate family. But we're your family. But they've made that happen, and for good reason, because they don't want you loving and caring your soldiers, and you do care about them. I know that. Because you get upset, you see the television, and you see the patheticness which goes on out there.
My middle son's best friend has just started joining the army and is about to go to Afghanistan. And I've known this boy since John's son now. John's son who's about 9 or 10. I've known this little boy since he was with Warhammer and all those sort of things. And now he's going off to Afghanistan.
My nephew's
every conflict the British Army has been involved with for the past few centuries have all been technically unlawful. The only time a British Army has really truly defended itself, yeah, we know that. The only time we've been invaded, 1066, yeah, we got snotty. We used to say in the military, yeah. We always have a banter with things. We have our own language, like the Law Society. But ours is probably more profound and, verbally offensive to some. And like I say, with this sovereignty issue, and it's something I didn't really quite grasp altogether, because obviously as a young boy I knew things were wrong out there. But the one thing I inherited from the great veterans that are around me, that I watched die one by one on my street. There was no proper autopsies or anything. These people just died. Some of them were sailors, submariners, and then you started to learn about actually some of the conditions they existed in, the poisons they lived among, and going into battle. Now I suffer with post-traumatic stress disorder. It's another corporate title for shell shock. Yeah, it's the greatest realisation is often when you're a soldier and you're in a battle area. Now, I've been in some pretty dodgy battle areas, yeah, but they just look like the towns and streets you walk around in, yeah? And all those people, they dressed like you. And the only thing that was different was their accent. Fucking Irish, I believe, yeah? Well, they were people and they were sovereign people, but they were being exploited. Absolutely. The same thing was happening to us. Now, for 15 years I've been suffering with post-traumatic stress disorder, and they kept me tableted up because they don't want angry soldiers out on the street, because you see what happens in the media when soldiers come back from a conflict. Ladies and gentlemen, they are truly fucked up. I'm sorry about the language. They are truly hurt human beings. And they've had to survive with their egos. And you know how important egos are. But in the military, your ego is everything. Because the military like breaking you down and bringing you back up. Because they can control you. And they brainwash us. Now, I can stand here and say, well, I'm not proud to be a trained killer. but that was my trade. And I was involved in operations that resulted in human beings dying unlawfully. Now that's something I've had to wrestle with since I've come off medication. And sometimes I felt like I've had enough of it all. I can't cope with this shit anymore. I can't cope with the harm that goes on out there, because when we come back to the war, from the war, and we're thrown out the army, we come into your world. And it's not a very caring one, is it? And all we see is harm. And we get angry, and we lose the plot, and they pump us full of more medication. They want to shut us up because we're struggling with so many things inside as a human being. And the one thing I might ask you all to do is to care for your soldiers, regardless of their language, regardless of their state of condition. Because the one thing that you can do in that help, in that care, is bring them back. Bring them back home, people. Your sovereign soldiers are your soldiers. They serve you and the Queen. And the Queen is important. She's more important to me now than ever before, even when I was a soldier. Because I know her position. And she draws the line. And she commands your sovereign soldiers. Remember that. It's not the government. They're the fuckers who make us go around and wave sticks at people. Yeah? Well, that's what we did. And we come back and we're human beings and we're hurt. Because it's not what human beings should behave like. Now, obviously, you know the dynamics of modern warfare. It's the most brutal warfare you could ever imagine. But you can't imagine it unless you've been there. Now, I've come back from some of them places like, and I've changed. Very changed. Every soldier will go through that change. At some point or other, he will develop a trauma or a condition associated with human degradation in the most violent way. It is sickening. And I'm left with myself often in a pool of great sadness and harm, because I don't want all the people out there carrying on the harm that we see when we come back to you. We clearly break from your family, but you are our family. As sovereign soldiers, we're here to protect you. And our Commander-in-Chief is the Queen, and she can order us. And even now, even though I'm considered to be, I'm a sovereign man now, but I'm still a sovereign soldier. I paid an oath to the Queen, whether I liked Lizzie at the time or not. In essence, she's still a human being, like the rest of us. And she has the capacity to have great care for all of us. And she is the Colonel-in-Chief. And us soldiers like that, because we don't like being told by fucking politicians about what to do. You know, you think a soldier likes doing what he's told. Kiss that, yeah? Because that's the truth. But the one thing we will do is we'll protect all of yous.
Thank you.
You know? A great many of you soldiers, they all come from very similar backgrounds to like John, myself. A lot of us were all working class lads. You know, we were brought into the illusion of ideology about where we come from and what streets we grew up on. You could see how good it was for the army to recruit working class boys that grew up in industrial towns, like, because wherever you've got a conflict, you've got civilians that are going to get hurt. So when a 5-year-old boy comes up to me and says to me, "You shot my daddy," it was because I was wearing a uniform and a soldier took his father away. Now at that moment in time I was just in a state of almost shock. Why would a little boy accuse me of killing his dad? Well, all he knew about was a man in a uniform took his dad out. Yeah, well, you see me, I still wear the camouflage, but that's to do with nature. I found nature. Because in the nature, when you've got a trauma like post-traumatic stress disorder or shell shock, you call it whatever, yeah, but it's probably something to do with the fact you're not designed to kill anyone. And that is your truth. Your human law is your greatest law. Please obey it because it's your truth. And the one thing a soldier always struggles with is his inner truth. because he knows there's something wrong going out there. What makes all these soldiers come together in a moment of battle? It's your humanity. We don't want to go back without anyone. We don't want to leave a man on the field. We don't want to leave a son, a brother, a sister. Don't want to leave anyone behind. And the army were very good at guilt tripping us. And you know fear, don't you? Yeah? Well, it's kind of like two types of fear for us. There's your illusionary fear. Now you like the word illusionary, don't you? Well, illusionary is very real as well, if you believe it. And that's what we were made to do. So often when we left our camp, every time we went out, we think, are we going to get shot with an RPG, an AK-47? Are we going to get blown up by an IED? The list of things that could happen to you is fucking mind-boggling. So you went out of camp like, and you go, fucking hell, I'm fucking scared. You go out all day and nothing happened. Fuck, that's one less day, isn't it? The next day, we've got to go somewhere different. And they were always, it's intelligence. Intelligence. It's got fuck all to do with common sense. Yeah? Common sense keeps soldiers alive. Yeah? Not highly educated shitheads. But I care about them. Like, obviously, I was involved in operations that resulted in human death. And I am responsible for that. I had my part in it. And I ask you all to forgive me. Yeah? Because I have to forgive me too. And I have to have your forgiveness. But all I'm saying is that your soldiers are your soldiers. They're sovereign soldiers. And they belong to you. It's just like, I try to... there's many reasons why you can say, why do you want to be a soldier? Why do you want to be a soldier? Well, the example I gave to two beautiful lady over there is, you ever watch bees? They all look after each other. Yeah? Now in here is a big hive. Yeah? But you always have soldiers. And they're to protect you from any baddies that want to come in here. And that's what I believe in. I want to protect you, but I went out to this Northern Ireland place and we were getting snotted. There was a lot of lies going on and we knew it. Yeah? I can tell you many stories that probably might distress you, but I don't want to ruin this atmosphere because you are greater than that. And like I say, there's two fears. There's your real fear, and that's the fear you embrace when you're going to fucking die. And that fucks you. Because when you don't die, you keep figuring out, why didn't I? Why did my mate die? Why did I get covered in so-and-so? Yeah, it's, like I say, you watch the telly, yeah? And it's very distressing. But like I say, the real is the real. And I'm glad you don't have to go there. I don't want you to go there. I don't want your children to go there. Anyone. Because you know what it's all about now. And even me, for me, I've found out. And without the help of TPUC, I couldn't put all my David Icke dots together. Now, I don't mind David Icke. Sometimes he's onto the right bit of information, because you can make the correlation between different things that have happened. I can give you an example of how treachery occurs inside Northern Ireland with respect to how you can sacrifice people. Now, you all remember that two soldiers, roughly in the 80s, they drove into a funeral cortege and they were executed. You ever remember them? They were in the car and they showed it on the TV. Well, that was for good reason. Yeah? They had to turn your opinion. They had to scare you. Yeah? Now, all I can tell you is that those two soldiers were sacrificed. There was a foot patrol less than a minute away from them, from the Royal Scots. Yeah? The RUC and the helicopter that was recording it all gave that information that those two men were in distress. They could have been saved. Now, the information was sent to Lisbon HQ, which is the HQ British Army Northern Ireland. The reply to that was, we did not wish the anonymity of those soldiers to be revealed. Well, they weren't They were just sightseeing. They weren't actually secret fucking beakies or nothing. There were two signal lads, and one of them said, "Do you want to come and see a funeral?" Now he had his pistol under his bum. We always keep pistols everywhere, like. But he had his under his bum, and so when his bum cheek tensed, he released his magazine. He only had one round up the breech, one round up the shitter. So he put it through the roof, and then he realised he didn't have his magazine, and so you saw what happened on the television. They were impaled. There's parts of the film you didn't see. They were impaled on fences. Yeah, they were stripped down naked. But then, all I'm saying is, we did the same to them. We were playing them off against each other. We were getting them to kill each other.
I've heard that before.
You know, and this was happening. You know, you heard about the tit for tat?
Yeah.
Well, this was all infiltrated. The IRA Army Council. It's all your generals. Yeah? Very powerful group of men. Allegedly. Well, there was one man on there, and he was intelligent. He was there for 12 years. He knew exactly what was going on. But like I say, your soldiers need your care when they're coming back.
Was you doing phone, Michael? Will you tell them about what you told me yesterday about equipment?
Oh, here we go. Yeah, the British Army, yeah, the most well-trained, well-equipped army in the world. Do you believe that? No. We haven't got any body armour for you. Oh, you've heard that story before, haven't you? He said, hang on, I'll go and have a look. You know, so off he goes, scuttles away. And he comes back, and it's a 1970s flak jacket. It wouldn't stop nothing unless you were 400 metres away from it. It was crap. But he said, yeah, you've got to wear it. You're not allowed to. He's like, you get on a helicopter. We're going on about health and safety things at the time. We were supposed to wear air defenders on a bloody helicopter. Well, what are you supposed to wear? I don't know who thought that. It's like example, like, we're up a tower, and we've got our safety harnesses, yeah? Okay? They're nice, bright orange ones, yeah? For us, yeah, like I say, you know what, you hear the word target, yeah? Well, a target, the word is misused, because out in that world there, is something you kind of like attain. We've got to set a target and reach that, yeah? In the military, your target is one meaning. It's a figure 11 or figure 12. That's what we trained on. He was a little Ivan. And yeah, targets you shoot. And that's what a real target is. So you're not targets. And don't fear the fear. Like I say, equipment in the army was pathetic. We would go out with equipment that would fail. We would go out with not enough equipment. And we always had to live on the words of improvise, adapt, overcome. Well, that's what human beings have always done. But that's what soldiers continually do. Yeah?
And what happens when you lose the equipment?
Oh, this is very interesting. I'll give you a few examples, Rob. I'm another great veteran, yeah? As a Grenadier Guardsman, like. And in the Gulf, they said they didn't use any chemical weapons, yeah? Well, we had all this equipment, and it's very sensitive, and it definitely picks up strange things in the atmosphere. Now, some of this equipment started going off, and we heard that, well, yeah, it's a bit temperamental, don't believe any of it. Like, well, my friend was quite clear about how much of the equipment was going off, all of it. So they were getting chemical drift coming in. Now, obviously, they're in this, they've masked up. So whether they've masked up in time, we'll never know. Because sometimes when you get something in you, it might take a long time before it takes effect. Now, these boys were told they had to get rid of their equipment. It was contaminated, yeah? You're ordered to remove that equipment. So they did. We take orders, yeah? Because we don't like fear. We don't like getting hurt. And that's what happens in the military. We're conditioned on fear. And so are you. But don't accept the fear. Now my friend gets back to Germany, and he goes down the QM and he says, I'd like to draw out some new equipment. They billed him for 800 quid. And the rest of his blokes, 800 quid. They were ordered to remove their equipment. Because it was contaminated with chemical residual elements. So, now another example of that is from a Second World War veteran. a really genuinely beautiful man that I met, and he relayed this beautiful story to me. He was not beautiful at all. It was pathetic because it's about equipment. The Sherman he was in, a Tommy Cooker they were known as, because they were petrol vehicles. You didn't want to get in a petrol vehicle. We had loads in Ireland, and we never even had any armour plating. Nah, no armour plating. We had this like Metrolon fiberglass stuff. Might stop a little bullet. But this veteran, this tank man, yeah, his Sherman took 2 hits from a Tiger. His tank blew up and he survived. He was blown out of his vehicle, which sometimes this happens like. But what he saw, I can't describe to you. But he was sent back because he wasn't well with this. And he was sent back to his battalion lines, and he had to go into the stores, and then he went up the armoury, and the armourer said to him, "Where's your pistol?" He says, "It's in the tank." Yeah. You're fucking built. Yeah? They built him. He didn't bring back his gun. He left it in the tank. It's nothing to do with the fact that it was burning away and melting, right? He had to pay for it, and he was paid for it. Now, I could tell you a funny story that happened to me. We all have a drink in the army. They like us drinking because it gets out some of the aggression and frustration that occurs because they get us right up there because they want us to kill, and we get up there because we're programmed. Yeah, we're programmed to kill. They know how to get us up there and they know how to bring us back down, but they don't have to know how to deal with us afterwards, so they get pissed. So I had a piss in my mattress. Swampy, we call it, like swamped your mattress, man. This corporal comes and says, "You've got to take your mattress down and QMs and get it exchanged." Okay, off I went. Seen the corporal and the QMs, I passed over the mattress and he said, "Oh, that's going to cost you 13 quid, yeah? But he gave me a new mattress, yeah?" Well, that had piss stains on it too. In fact, I gave one mattress back with one piss stain on, and I got the other one back and it had 13 on them. So that's a result, we thought. Like, but like I say, the equipment we were using often failed. We often had a radio system that it kind of wouldn't work. You know, you get past a few hills, you couldn't transmit nothing. So if you got hit, you were dead meat. So we always knew the areas on the way to Armagh, because Armagh we refer to as bandit country. Bandit country. No bandits there. Didn't see any of them, like. But like I say, they were very, very difficult times, and equipment was pathetic. Like we had 2 firms in Northern Ireland who assisted the military in all construction operations. Carl's Construction and Henry Brothers. Their drivers, they had Mercury trucks, Mercedes-Benz trucks. You know, and we had these Leyland constructors, soft-skinned vehicles with an engine governor on them that wouldn't allow you to go more than 50 miles an hour. Health and safety, of course. And we had to do this. Something had happened, and some workers had been killed, 8 of them in a minibus. They'd been blown up by a landmine. It was just outside the army base. We had cameras there, honest, we had everything. And it happened. So it's a kind of a strange event because we're still puzzled by how they got the device there under our nose. And this happened, obviously, continually all over the place. And we had to do a detail. We had to drive as rear-end vehicle for Carl's Construction. But hey, we got to drive one of their trucks.
Still.
We got in it, yeah? Armour plating! Whoa! Ballistic glass! Yes! And these guys were getting an extra £15 an hour danger money. Do you know what your government paid us? £3.20 a day. Danger money. Yeah? Fucking danger. Money. Do you think we think about getting paid on the battlefield? Do you think we think about whether we're going to pay any bills or a mortgage? That's all gone. It's all gone. That's the last thing in a soldier's mind. But the one thing that a soldier always wants is his equipment. He wants it to work. You know? Now, I used to put 45 Sangers out. I was an engineer, a sapper, a miner. because that's what your original sappers were. They used to dig under fortifications, tunnel underneath, get in and sort out the baddies.
They're called old diggers, weren't they?
Yeah,
The
this
old
is it. And in the engineers, you only dig a hole deep enough to get your head down in it. Yeah, so that's a very small hole. You don't spend all day doing it, because often one of the problems with being an engineer is when you're getting shot at, you didn't have a clue. We existed in noise. We made a lot of noise, an extreme amount of noise, which was useful for the enemy because he knew exactly where we were, and we'd make a lot of sparks, be cutting things, putting all these different we had rocket screens to put around these 45 boxes to stop an RPG hitting it and blowing it up and killing everyone in it. Now, this is interesting. Like, so we went around, we put all these rocket screens around because it was an upgrade. We love upgrades. And so we're putting this mesh round, and we're working. We work some extreme hours. 17 to 21 hours for a shift in a day could be normal, quite normal. You could be on the ground. I've known veterans on earlier tours. Sometimes they were on the ground 40, 50 hours before they were properly relieved and had proper food and rest. We were always pushed to the limits because there was never enough resources. And there always seemed to be too many fucking chiefs and not enough Indians. And we were the Indians. And we went out there, and as men, as groups of men, we made change. We thought we were making a difference. And we made no difference. No difference at all, because the status quo wouldn't change. But as for the rocket screens, when they fired the first RPG at one, oh shit, it hit the Sanger. The mesh was the wrong type, wasn't it? Yeah? So we had to go around all of them again and put the right mesh there, so that would strip the rocket off and that would drop the round, and so it wouldn't detonate against your Sanger. Now you'd think the Sanger, 45 box armour plate, it's a safe place to be, yeah? No, you don't want to be in a Sanger. It's like being in a vehicle. When the vehicle gets hit, you've got to get out of it as fast as you can, because you don't want to get cooked. And that's what happens to any vehicle that gets hit. The potential is you're going to get cooked inside it. So inside the Sanger, the potential is all the same. I can tell you an example. Was a young soldier in North Howard Mill Street. We had a Sanger up on the top of this mill, which had a really good panoramic view. A guy runs out onto the wasteland. I didn't see this, but this is what's been told to me on accuracy. And he fired an RPG, and he got a lucky shot. He went straight through the windows, the ballistic windows. There's a little gap in it, because he could see out. Yeah, because you've got to look out the windows, because you can always see through the ballistic glass, because it'd steam up and mist up, or it'd just get dirty. And he was reading a very girlish mag. Yeah, but he lost his head. He didn't find his head. He'd gone. So we had to do the job all over again, repair everything. And it's kind of almost really, in essence, it's a very sickening trade, because we are the lackeys of a government and not our sovereign. Because I know our sovereign suffers consciously, as any other human being here would. Your soldiers, your sovereign soldiers, they're being abused and they're being misled, they're being lied to constantly. We will live with lies because they always give you the intelligence of fear. Now, the fear has damaged me, wars have damaged me, and it's all human harm, and it goes against your human law. And again, as a sovereign man and a soldier, sovereign soldier, I appeal to you all to look after them all, to show them care when they haven't got it in them, because they are lost in the damage. And the only way they're going to come back from that is through your human care. And when you've got them soldiers on your side, they're yours. And they always were. But they've been lied to constantly. And I don't want to feel any shame or misjudgment by anyone in all things. It's kind of what's happened has happened. It's always 50-50. And I guess if they'd have told us that every time we left the barracks, it's 50-50, it might have been a better headspace to use. And we're always like, is this delivery I tried to make to show people the difference in how your mind can work? Now, for instance, John, if I say, John, today you're going out on an op, you might get shot at. Don't know. Could happen. Now, here's the other delivery. John, you're out today, you're going to get fucking snotted. Now, which one is the better delivery? Yeah? So you accept what's going to happen. So obviously in Northern Ireland, you believe in what they're telling you, yeah? You're going to go out and these guys are good, these bad guys are out there, they're going to do you in. And you buy it. And it damages you up here. You live with paranoia. You live on the seat of your pants. Now, like, there's the part of inside me that doesn't switch off. He's constantly alive. And I don't mind that, because that's a human space caused by harm. But he's not a harmful man anymore. He doesn't believe in hurting anything. He believes constantly in his human law, and he believes in you. And like I say, what's happened here is monumental for all of us, because it's the great awakening for the human spirit and human care and love. And that's the greatest weapon on the planet. So don't forget it. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, don't worry, man. If I go missing, really? You can let me know. Yeah. Just broadcast it continually, like. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, people.
Just thanks to everyone for making such a great weekend. It's been absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I hope you thoroughly enjoyed it. And I look forward to the next one. I really do.
Next weekend.
Next weekend?
Yeah.
Well, we pulled this one off in a week.
Out of the ordinary.
Yeah, I'm going to do that actually.